Hey, what's up grinders? I am Hazard and this is Gems of War. So the ongoing campaign, the Labyrinthine Tablet, will end this week at Wild Plains. The weekly event is a Brown Tower of Doom event and we're going to go and check that out first. The event weapon Doomspade earns the usual double score when you use this weapon in the boss rooms. So the idea of this Tower of Doom events is to clear all these floors and fight the boss room and kill the Doom over there. So as long as you are using the event weapon here in the boss room, that is going to be enough. You can use any other weapons here in the other rooms, but when we're going to check the teams, I'm going to use that Doomspade in all of those because it's very easy to forget to use the event weapon here in the boss room if you are using other weapons here in these other rooms over here. Um, you can get the event weapon here in the shop by buying this tier 4, and this weapon deals magic plus 5 damage to the first 2 enemies and plus 2 per tempering level. So if you upgrade this weapon to max, it will create plus 20 damage to the enemies. Then it creates 2 brown gems for each brown ally and enemy. And if the enemy has a doom, it will gain a random status effect to your hero. So the maximum amount of brown gems created is 16. For example, if you use this weapon in a brown PvP region, for example, when all your allies and the enemies are brown troops. Right. About the reward stages, these ToD events actually can be cleared without buying any of these tiers, as long as your guild members work accordingly. You have to collect all the luck scrolls and kill 66 dooms in order to unlock all of these richer reward stages in a perfect world. Every guild member has to do that. Kill 66 dooms, and your free shields is going to be enough as long as you collect the luck scrolls. About the teams, well, I have a let's say a beginner team here first. We're using a jeweled golem up top, a construct troop from Broken Spire. This is a very good mana generator for people who don't have high global magic stats. The Ruby Ray spell explodes a gem. You can pick the gem that is going to be exploded, and then he will create 1 times 3 wild card and 2 more of those wild cards for each brown gems destroyed around the exploded gem. It sounds pretty difficult, but it is pretty awesome mana generation way. Traits: Clopper deals double skull damage versus stunned enemies, and Inscribed gains 1 armor when an enemy casts a spell, and Stone Skin trait reduces damage from skulls by 50%. Very good traits as well. I think this is one of the better mana generator troops for beginner and low level players, in my opinion. We're using the Doomspade here in the second position, and we are also using Elementalist class for protection. Elemental Force trait stuns, freeze, burns and entangles a random enemy when matching extra turns. Also we have a Snap Freeze that frees a random enemy at the start of the battle. We have Storm Aura that creates a dust storm at the start of the battle that is a brown storm and that will help with the mana generation when we are casting our golem. Rock Solid gains a barrier, Lightning Strike explodes 1 yellow gem on extra turns, and Fortitude is immune to Death Mark, and that is very good talent, especially here in the ToD events when the Doom can inflict death marks on you. In the third slot we are using Gargoyle. This is Hall of Guardians troop. Hall of Guardians, a faction troop, and you can get this troop by using your Chaos Shards in the Hall of Guardian portals inside the faction. This troop deals magic plus 4 splash damage to an enemy, a boost by all allies attack, and then expose 2 gems. The boost ratio is 3 to 1. Traits: Spell Armor reduces damage from spells by 25%, and Stone Skin reduces damage from skulls by 50%. Those are pretty nice. And in the last slot we are using Ethereal Sentry, another Hall of Guardians faction troop. This troop increases an ally's attack by their armor and then creates a light storm. Well, we don't like that light storm, but gotta give something, I suppose. Armored reduces damage from skulls by 25%, and Spellblock reduces damage from spells by 50%. Okay, so what we are going to do over here is to, for example, first of all, we are using Elementalist again for the protection. We could use a Geomancer class. to get 50% start to our troops, but trust me, in the higher levels you really want that elementalist and take it slow. So we are using Jeweled Golem as our mana generator. Doomed Spade is a backup mana generator and a backup damage dealer. Then Ethereal Sentry, we are trying to cast this troop on Jeweled Golem and increase his attack if he has the armor. If he doesn't have the armor, for example, for some skull damage, then we are going to cast this sentry on the troop that has the armor. Right. And when we cast this sentry, we are going to get more attack, which means our gargoyle is going to deal more damage, because again, the splash damage is boosted by all allies attack. Right. And we want to really cast the sentry on golem if we just can, because again, if we can bump up the attack, our Clopper trait is going to deal more skull damage as long as the enemies are stunned. And for that we are using again this Elementalist and the third trait. Let's go and try this team. I'm at floor 5 right now, kind of doing scouting at the same time. Not very nice starting board, but let's see if we can work this out. There is one brown gem, we take that. And there is the first skull poke, which is very, not very nice. But let's see if we can generate some extra turns. We are going to explode this green gem that is surrounded by 4 brown gems. And plenty of wild cards on the board, and our troops are going. Let's see, I think we could maybe take that, of course. Yep, now our mana generator is back going. Now I'm casting this sentry on our golem over here. We have 77 attack right now, and now we have 238, right. And I think our gargoyle is going to deal pretty heavy splash damage. That is over 200 damage points. So if we cast over here, we kill all these troops, 3 troops over here, right. Okay, then we go again and cast our golem over here. The light storm isn't very nice, but I suppose it should, in theory, help with the extra turns. Let's take that. I think we are going to cast our golem over here. Alright, and now we can get rid of the bat. Little bit slow, but if you just also play it slow and take all extra turns, etc., it's going to carry you pretty far, I think. That's attack, and we don't want that. Okay, so a speed team for those who possess some fancier troops. Here I have a Undead speed team. We're using Borky Bork. Up top, Bork 3000 destroys magic +1 gems and creates 3 bound gems. Bork is a mech troop, so we are using Mechanist class to give all mech allies a 50% start. There's also some nice talents here in the talent tree for the Mechanist class. And we're using Morthanis Darkness as our main damage dealer. Divine Undead from Gulvania. This troop steals magic +2 life from 4 random enemies, and if you lose troops, he or she can summon Morthanis will. One of the better things about Morthanis Darkness and Undeads in general is the Undying trait that makes your troop immune to poison, disease, lycanthropy, and death mark. So the enemy Doom cannot kill you with the death mark, and you boost your life with the life steals. Pretty awesome. And we're using the Doomed Spade in the third slot as our backup mana generator mostly. And we're using the Coast Queen in the last slot. This is actually a pretty good troop. Haunted Crown third trait gives all undead allies a 50% start. So with this lineup we have a full 50% start. But I think I have to mention that this Coast Queen spell, Wraith Song, also steals 7 mana from an enemy and then steals magic +3 life, boosted by purple gems on the board. For example, if the Raven for some reason gets full, you can cast this Coast Queen on the Raven and steal 7 mana from and help that it doesn't fly away. Right, because of the 50% start and starting explosion and enchant, usually some of these troops are ready to rock even without pressing any buttons. Let's go and try this team. So we want browns or yellows to get Borky going so that we can spam some mana to our damage dealers. Let's see if the starting explosion is nice to us. Well, Borky is going. Let's do that and start the lifesteal going. Well, that was a quick fight. 4-5 here. We got a haste scroll. I'm going to write that down. Okay, so if you don't have Mortanis Darkness, there is another way to get 50% start for some of these good brown troops. We like knight troops. Sir Quentin Hadley gives 50% start to all knight allies. So we replace Coast Queen with Sir Quentin Hadley. And then we have options like Gorge Avatar, pretty good speed troop. We have 2 million AoE damage. And if you don't have nice mythics, you could use King Mikhail or, for example, Ulf Harrigan over here. King Mikhail would be mana blocked by Borg. So here, Ulf Harrigan deals magic plus 3 true damage to 3 random enemies. And if an enemy is wounded, deals 10 extra damage and then summon Ulf's mascot. So we have a summoning option as well if something goes very, very wrong. 50% start to Ulf, 50% start to Borg, and I think this would work pretty nice. I suppose we could also change the banner for something like maybe this. Yeah. Alright, let's try this speed team. Let's see if the starting explosion works to our favor. Not very good starting board, but something can change pretty quickly. There, deal damage, spam the board, and deal another damage with your Ulf Hurricane. Or you can use actually Sir Quentin Hadley as well. There. Alright, another haste. Gotta write that down. So the last room over here is the unlock. I'm going to do another fight over here with this team. Then I'm going to climb some more and show the high level team that I prefer for the Brown ToD event. Okay, troops going. Spam the board, generate some mana, and this is match anytime soon. So the main reason why I obviously prefer the mythics over legendaries is that they have 3 different mana colors instead of just 2. As you can see, we had a little bit problems getting Ulf Hurricane going when Mortanis Darkness was very easily full of mana. Right, but now I'm going to climb more and I show the high level team in a moment. Okay, so we are in the floor 7 now, and I just realized I'm running out of time again. Man's gotta work too. So, the high-end team, we're going to show this here in the pretty early floors. We're using Hiking Iron God up top, a Goblin from Jayin. This troop deals magic plus 4 damage to an enemy, with a chance to devour them equal to my attack and then gains an extra turn, as all the Goblins usually do. Now the problem with this is of course that if you don't have attack, the devour chances are low, but we are going to gamble a little bit and trust that Iron God eventually eats. We're using Angry Mob in the second position. This is another brown gem destroyer. As we are using Iron God up top, Borg is not very good idea, because it will be mana blocked 100%, so at least Angry Mob has the red gems available. This troop destroys magic plus 1 random gems and burns a random enemy, and then either summons another Angry Mob or deals magic plus 1 damage to the first enemy. So we have a kind of a backup summon over here. The main summon again comes from Mortanis Darkness. If you lose troops, she can summon Mortanis Will, and the main reason for Mortanis Darkness is that because not every troop can be eaten, then we are using the lifesteal to get rid of the enemies. And we're using the Doomspade here in the third position. Again, remember that Mortanis Darkness steals life and cannot be Deathmark killed. So this is very, very viable troop for these brown ToD events. And we are using Sunspear class because it creates a firestorm at the start of every turn, so that helps with the Angry Mob spamming, and of course the Root Trap helps with Iron God survivability if he doesn't like to eat. Firebringer helps against bonus red mana from red gem matches. Right, let's try this team. I think Xalthanos cannot be eaten, and we don't have a way to stun, so we have to kill Xathenos with our Morthanes Darkness. Hoping for a great starting explosion, which didn't happen. Let's take those reds so we can start spamming. Can we eat you? Yes, that happened. Nice luck. Okay. Let's try to eat more troops. For example, you. And I think this is enough to get rid of the remaining enemies. A Morthanes Darkness cost. There. Right. That a life scroll. We don't need that. Yeah. And let's go and fight against Doom of Stone. Bullet cannot be devoured. Okay. So 2 troops that cannot be devoured. I think our Morthanes Darkness is going to get the job done. Not very good board. Still not very good, but let's do that. Then we do that. And let's try to eat the bird over there. We managed to do that. Maybe time to do a lottery ticket. Okay, Sunspear, and there's no red gems on the board. What is happening? Well, whatever, we do that. And then get rid of the enemies with Morthanes Darkness. There. So those are the ToD teams that I prefer. Seriously though, let me know in the comments if you have some great brown teams for this week. And then let's go check Underspire. Wild Plains Underspire. The speed team for the early areas is this from me. Rage Reaver. This is a Wild Plains weapon, so you can actually craft this one in the soulforge if you don't own this. Old meta weapon, let's say that. Deals magic plus 4 splash damage to an enemy and then creates 4 red gems boosted by Taurus allies. And the boost ratio is times 3. So if you use a full Taurus lineup, your Rage Reaver is going to generate 16 red gems. And to be able to use a full Taurus lineup, we have to use the Shaman class that makes our hero a Shaman. Very good class actually. Bullish Vigor. All Taurus allies start with 50% mana. We have Root Trap. And we have Bloodthirsty that begins, your hero becomes enraged on extra turns. And all Taurus allies gain 1 attack on every turn, etc, etc. We're using Taurus in the second position. This is our main damage dealer here in this speed build. This troop deals AoE damage, which is boosted by attack, life and armor. The boost ratio is 10 to 1, so not very good, but it gets the job done in the first areas. That's about it. We're using Ketros in the third position as a backup damage dealer, and we're using Storm Chaser in the last slot just because it has the Song of Fire trait that summons a firestorm at the start of the battle. Helps with the elements with Rage Reaver cost. So all of our troops are going to start with 50% mana. We have a Red Storm, and hopefully we can get our Rage Reaver going quickly. Then we just generate mana to our damage dealer and be done with the fights. Oh, very convenient. A brown extra turn over there. Not many reds, but let's see if we can get an extra turn. We did nicely, and that's a match. There. Let's see, that's a fourth, and this is a fifth fight, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Okay. We should maybe check the other team. When things get harder, you want to bring the Elementalist on, of course. Reach back, bounty troop up top, knocks an enemy to the back, and then explosion. In my case, that is, I think that's half magic. Gems of one of their mana colors. And we are using Wild Cleaver in the second position. This is one of these Kingdom Exploders that explode green gems and then grant a status effect to all Wild Plains allies and summon a Wild Plains troop. And using Elementalist. We're using Ketras to pull as our main damage dealer. This troop deals magic plus 4 splash damage to an enemy, boosted by his attack, life and armor with boost ratio 2 to 1. And King Minos gives all Taurus allies a 50% start. Because we aren't using Shaman class, we bring King Minos to give 50% start to our Ketras and King Minos. This troop can be also used as a damage dealer. Let's try this team. So we want to get our exploder or reach back going to generate mana to our damage leaders, but if there are some extra turns, of course we take those and maybe good things can happen. Little bit slower, but eventually it gets going. Let's do that. Let's do a cast over there. Okay, more dragons, that's fine. Let's explode some red gems, then greens. Maybe some skulls or extra turns. Well, blue, boy, we gotta do that. And that. And finally this A match. Again, of course it is slower, but it brings the protection in high level areas. Let's try this team in the boss room against Garnetailing. Let's see. There's a nice extra turn. I think we are going to take that and that. Let's explode the board. Should take those extra turns probably. We do a cast over there. And is this a match? Yes, it is. Right. So those are my Underspire teams for this week. That's about it. The usual stuff. Comment, like, subscribe. Has us off. Peace out.